It's a kiss to the jingle bells. I hear them ringing now.
Welcome and happy holidays, friends and fans, to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. And today, we are speaking with an incredibly talented guest. So without further ado, let's head on down to Arnold's and pick him up. Our guest today is an Emmy-winning actor, director, producer, and author whose multimedia body of work includes Happy Days, Barry, Arrested Development, Night Shift, Alien Superstar, the Hank Zipzer book series, and so much more. Today, he joins us to talk about this fantastic career. Please welcome back our friend, Henry Winkler.
Hi. How are you?
I am good, Henry. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here. I've been looking forward to this, and I just want to say to everybody who is watching, have the safest, most joy-filled holiday possible.
Oh, and to you, so glad everything is good in your corner of the world.
You know what? We the Winkler family has expanded by one. About 8.5 weeks ago, little Frances was born, and we call her Frankie, and she is beautiful. So that 6 grandchildren. Wow. And the Christmas tree is lifted off the ground from presents.
I will certainly bet. You know, Henry, since it is the holiday season, I've never asked you about this project, so I gotta go back a little bit. The incredibly undervalued An American Christmas Carol.
Wow, you know what? That is so funny because this year that came up on my Twitter feed a lot. I was so scared because I was asked to play Scrooge. Mm-hmm. And before me, so many great actors have played Scrooge. Oh, yeah. Now, here I was. This was 1979. ABC asked me to be in the American Christmas Carol. And I almost talked myself out of it because it was so scary. And I thought, could I do this and give it the respect it needed? And I finally said, you know what? If you're an actor, stop talking yourself out of it. Just shut up and fly up to Toronto. 12 pieces of rubber every morning starting at 3:45. And I am very proud of it. I'm very proud. And people seem to like it still in 2021, almost 2.
There's a lot in it to be proud of. It's a great concept to transpose it into that period of American history, and again, I think it was a great decision for you because that was at the height of Fonzie mania and everything else, and it was just a great way. It looked like you were having a lot of fun just playing, acting in a different mold.
You know what? It's true, but also the lesson that I learned was, it is so easy for you to say no to something instead of pushing yourself and just saying, you know what? I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to give it my best. And most of the time, it turns out pretty well. However, I have not tried to take apart a washing machine. I have left that to the professional.
I replaced the plug in a dryer once, and I was terrified when I turned it on because I thought it was going to explode.
Yeah, I know.
To my delight, it did. I know. Something else that you push yourself into is something that I know you're very proud of course, are your books.
Yes.
Alien Superstar and Hank. For our audience that may not know about it, tell us real quick about those.
Okay, so the first books were Hank Zipzer, the world's greatest underachiever. He's in the 4th grade. Now, he's already found out that he's got a learning challenge. So Hank is me, and this is my actual teacher, Miss Adolph, except this is a better rendering of what she looked like in person. And this one, you know what I thought? I'm not good at fractions. I'm not good in math. I'm in the bottom 3% in the country in math. I took geometry for 4 years. So we have International Day and we have to make a meal. I decided to make enchiladas. And the recipe called for 1/3 of a cup of chili powder. I thought it was 1 cup 3 times. Miss Adolph decided to try everything that was on the table in the multipurpose room. All of a sudden, she put some of the enchilada into her mouth. She started to cough, then hiss, then gasp. "Water!" she hissed. "Get me some water!" She sounded like the golem in the Lords of the Rings. She hissed pretty loudly. All of a sudden, she started to do the Roomba. "Oh my God, it must be something that I ate." "Oh, you think so? My windpipes are closing." "Oh, this is, oh my God, this is my enchilada. Oh, I made a bad enchilada." She grabbed an ice cube. She rubbed it on her tongue, then her cheek, then her tongue, cheek, tongue, cheek. Then she all of a sudden started to shoot across the multipurpose room like she had a rocket under her skirt. I hid under one of the desks. That's called Holy Enchilada, but the actual title is Holy Enchilada, My Teacher Has Gas. But they wouldn't let us put that on the cover.
Is it a subtitle inside?
You know what? When I sign it, I usually sign the subtitle. Then we wrote about 18 Hank books. And then we said, you know what? Let's go backwards. And we did Here's Hank with Lynn Oliver. I write every book with Lynn Oliver. And this has a font in it. Wait a minute, where is it? There it is. That is completely different. It's for second graders. And you'll notice the font is just more friendly to the eye. It was developed by, and I'll show you the other, the font in the book that I just read. And you'll notice, you'll see the difference. And the Here's Hank books just make it more friendly. But this one is called There's a Zombie in My Bathtub. So Hank in the second grade starts reading, and he reads a book that that tells him about zombies, but he leaves a word out. It says there are no zombies, and he leaves no out. He finds out that zombies, I think, originated originally in Brazil. Who knew that? So he goes to bed thinking, oh my goodness, I'm thinking zombies are going to come and take over my apartment. He goes to bed that night. I close my eyes as I usually do. But instead of dreaming of hitting a home run with my favorite New York baseball team, the Mets, my brain went to zombie land. I'm going to leave a lot of the scary parts out of my nightmare because I want you to close your eyes and not close this book. In my dream, I'm about 5 years old. I'm building a sandcastle, and all of a sudden, zombies start coming at me. They're like jellyfish. They're like they have arms instead of noses, and they have giant octopus tentacles, and they have stingers on the end of each one. I scream. I run down the beach. I use every bit of my strength to break free of the zombies. I run for the lifeguard shack. But the faster I run, the farther away it got. And all of a sudden, I woke up screaming, "Let me go! Let me go!" You know what? I thought everybody has heard so much about my career that I'd like to read my books instead. Everybody likes to be read to.
Of course. And who doesn't like a good zombie story?
See, there you go. Patty, you never miss a beat.
Well, I just try to keep up with you, Henry.
That was great.
Out of my absolute capricious curiosity, do you think we'll ever see a crossover between Hank and Alien Superstar?
Oh, that is a good question. This one, this is the end of the trilogy, and it came out in October. There are three alien superstars, and I want to tell you that the supreme leader of the squadron, the government, the suppressive government on the alien's planet, comes down to snatch him back, to take him back to his planet, because his grandmother put him in a rocket ship that she built, because she is the master mechanic of the squadron fleet, and sent him to the only address they know on Earth, the back lot of Universal Studios. Who is going to question a rocket ship on the back lot? And he gets a job as an alien on a situational comedy show because he's already got the costume. Yeah, he's got suction cups for feet because on his planet there is no gravity.
There you go. And I'm sure that's how you got the part of Arthur Fonzarelli, because you had the leather jacket, right?
You know how I did it? I didn't have a leather jacket, but I changed my voice. That's all I did.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did it at that moment, but as I was looking at the script, all of a sudden I went in the room. I started talking like this, I said, and then I was talking to the producers and directors. Don't you look me in the eye. I want to tell you, hey, you change places with her. I just by changing my voice, my imagination burst out of my body. I went with it. I don't know what I was saying. I threw the script up in the air. I sauntered out of the room. And on my birthday, October 30th, 1973, I got a call from Tom Miller, who said, would you like to join us? And I said, I would. I had 6 lines to begin with. And then the rest is history. And I had the most wonderful. Now, I was 27. At 72, I got Barry. I mean, just flip the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I'm very grateful for my life.
Oh, and we've been grateful for your body of work. And again, Henry, I thank you for your talents. I thank you for your professionalism. And I thank you for the performances you brought to so many of these projects that I've enjoyed and our audience has enjoyed.
Thank you. We just finished the 3rd season of Barry, and I believe it's going to premiere April 18th, 2022. And we go back to shoot season 4 around the same time. It's amazing. Do I have any questions from the audience?
Yes, I was about to say we are good to go. So let's go ahead and start that up. And
I love those.
Our first one comes from Kevin. Ooh, I'm going to rephrase this slightly. What is one of your favorite books that you have written? Okay, or if you have one you want to declare a favorite, you can do that.
No, you know what?
I'll give you the wiggle room.
Here it is, Kevin. It is really true. I don't have one because I'm still in shock that I wrote any book. And when each one we write, this is it. This is my favorite one. I love this one. And then the next one, nope. This is it. This has got to be it. So my favorite thing is that, again, I took the chance and said, okay, I'll meet with Lynn Oliver and see if I can write a book. The same way that I took a chance and said, I'll fly up to Canada and try and make Scrooge come alive. Every time I talk myself into jumping off the precipice and flying, I soar like an eagle.
There you go. Kevin, great question to start us off with. Thank you. Hey, what do we have next? From Dante. What is the Fonz's favorite thing about Christmas?
I would have to say, one of the great episodes early on, one of the episodes where the Fonz was featured for the first time was he was alone for Christmas. And the Cunninghams, and he had this tiny tree, and there were no presents. And I think he had a can of beans or something, or, ravioli. and the Cunninghams came to the garage to ask him a question and then invited him to go home. So my instinct is the Fonz's favorite thing about Christmas is family.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely so. And one of my favorite episodes is the meeting between Fonzie and his father and the closure that Fonzie got out of that.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Dante, that's interesting that you say that because, you know, I never had grandparents. My grandparents were taken in Nazi Germany. So we wrote, Hank has an amazing grandfather, and they solve problems with pickles. If it's a big problem, it's a dill. If it's a little problem, it's a cocktail.
Oh, I am gonna steal that for my next slew of nieces, nephews, and goddaughters.
Yeah. You know where I got it from? The president of Paramount for a time his name was Gary Nardino, and he was a very hefty human being. He was there in the late 70s, early 80s, and you'd go into his office to chat about something on the set, and he would say, well, this is a 2 pretzel problem. This is a 1 pretzel problem. And that's where I got it from.
Oh, that's fantastic. Dante, great question. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dante.
From Lisa. She comes to a lot of our shows here. What is your favorite memento from any show or movie that you've done that you've kept? Because I know you do like to keep souvenirs from just about everything.
You know what? I did. During the pandemic, I realized I was a hoarder. And I went through this space over the garage. There were 27 boxes filled with mementos. Wow. And as I took them out of the box, I realized I didn't even know I had them for the last 40, 30, 20 years. So I just had an auction. The Fonz's jacket, my dungarees, the boots that I wore in the Lords of Flatbush. And it was an amazing thing to give these items back to the universe. But my favorite thing, all of my Happy Days scripts, I bound in leather. I bound 4 or 5 episodes in a volume with pictures, papers, notes, letters I got from the studio. Yeah. And I bound them all together. And I think outside of my family and my puppies, they are and my fishing rod. They are my favorite possession.
There you have it. Lisa, great to see you. Thanks for joining us, and great question as always. What do we have next? From AC.
Wait a minute. AC is the name of my grandson, who is going to turn double digits. His name is Ace, and he is an ace. So AC, thank you for your question. All right. Yes. I don't know what inspired me to be an actor. I honestly don't. And not only that, but I didn't have a plan B. It was acting or living on the street. I had no middle ground. All I knew was, and I've said this before, if people were born to do something on this earth, I was born to try and be an actor. Honestly, from like 7, like from the beginning. Absolutely.
I think you succeeded.
Thank you, Patty.
And thank you, AC. Great question. And from Joshua. What is one of your funniest behind-the-scenes memories from any project you've done? Okay, this is a hard question to answer because I, unfortunately, making comedy is such serious business. Okay, this is true. We filmed Happy Days on Stage 19, the same studio where Lucy, Meet the Ricardos, which is an incredible movie out now with
Javier Bardem.
Bardeen.
Yeah, Bardeen. And Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
They invented the 3-camera experience to shoot a comedy on that, and we were there on that very stage 19. In between, there, let me tell you, there's the sound stage, there are the cameras, and there are the people high up in the bleachers, if you've ever come to see a show being shot.
Yeah.
And during the break, Ron Howard, Donnie Most, Chachi, Scott Baio, we all had pea shooters. We all had wads of paper, and we would spit it, and we would hit people with them. Of course, they didn't hurt, but we had them hidden all over under the bleachers, and that was a lot of fun. Also, you know this thing of where you get someone to look down and you go, whoop, gotcha.
Yep.
I had to wait a year and a half to get Scott Baio the second time because he was always on to me. And I finally said, oh, my knee. And he looked down. It took me a year and a half of waiting to finally get him.
The patient hunter waits.
True.
There you go, Joshua. Great question. Thank you,
Josh.
And here's over Radio Man 970. How'd you get inspired to start writing?
Do you know what? I wasn't inspired. I was having a very hard time getting hired as an actor around 2001. I had finished a Broadway play with the late John Ritter. I miss him every day. And Len Cariou, who is on Blue Bloods. And somebody said, write books for children about your learning challenges. And I said, well, since I have a learning challenge and I believe I'm stupid, I was called stupid, I can't write a book. And there again, that's the third one. I said, I'm going to try. And I tried, and boom, there it was. And I was able to write a book. And then I turned into 37.
Yeah, and counting. There you have it. Radio Man 970. Thank you. From Yvonne, what has been the most challenging character you have ever played?
You know what? I would have to say, Yvonne, that every one of them. When I audition or I get asked to do a part and I say, yeah, I love to do that. And then I stop and I go, wait a minute, what did I just say yes to? I literally have this fear each time. And my career started on June 30th, 1970. That's when I joined the Yale Repertory Theater for $173 a week. I think I forgot how to act. I think, I don't know how to do this. Why did I say yes? What am I, crazy? And then slowly but surely, I find details and my imagination, and I let my imagination take over, and boom, it jumps out of my body. But when I left the Yale Repertory Theater, I got a $10 raise in Cincinnati at the Cincinnati Playhouse in the Park, one of the most lovely repertory theaters in this country. And I went there. And I just tried anything. And the director said to me, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I'm sitting on the floor. I'm doing a headstand. I'm standing on the bench. Finally, he said, I had no idea that we were ever going to get to opening night with you. And here you are. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.
Fair. There you go. Yvonne, thank you. Lovely
Thanks,
question.
Yvonne. Happy holiday.
Indeed. Thomas wants to know, out of all the characters you have played, which one would you say you have the most in common with?
Wow, what a great question. And here's why. Every character that is really well written is inside all of us because we're all the same. It doesn't matter whether you have an accent. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you like to eat. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what your religion. We're underneath. We're all the same. And that's why Shakespeare is 500 years old. Because if you take the iambic pentameter out and you just look at these characters and what they say and what people say about them and how they interact, you've met every one of Shakespeare's characters at your holiday table, in your supermarket.
Yep.
Great characters start with the humanity that is in us all. And then you add conditions to it. You add what the director wants. You add the way you're reacting to the other actors. You add what your imagination dictates, the research you've done on the period of the play or show you're doing. So that's what I have to say. And that's a great question. That is a great question.
Very much so. Thomas, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Happy holiday.
Indeed. And here's one from Andre. What do you like the most about doing comedy?
I love the process of getting to making people laugh. There, you know, I don't know if I can say this, but it is true. There was a great stand-up comedian. He was a great storyteller. He made records. His name was Shelley Berman. And he was very funny. And I don't mean to, but this is the truth. He said every laugh is like a kiss on the balls. And it's just an amazing thing to hear people laugh. I hope nobody turned off their camera.
I think they're fine.
Okay, fine. But that is true. That is the truth.
It's a kiss to the jingle bells. How's that?
It's a kiss to the jingle bells. I hear them ringing now.
Henry, I love working with you. Andre, great question. Thank you. What do we have next? From Sammy. Ooh. Who has been your biggest inspiration?
I would say people who need to do what they do, like singers. Like I am crazy about music, except I can't make it. One of my biggest frustrations, and it should be the only one, but is that I can't sing. And if I could sing, I would like to sing like Brandi Carlile. I'd like to sing like Sia. I'd like to sing like Blake Shelton. I would like to sing like Bruno Mars, Bruce Springsteen. I used to think that if there was such a thing as reincarnation, I would come back as the boss. Every one of those people that I mentioned. Oh, Adele. Oh! Every one of the people that I mentioned takes you on a journey through their music. Even if you don't listen to the words, the sound they make on their instrument and their instrument, that inspires me. People who can't keep it inside anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Great one, Sammy. Thank you. And let's roll another one. Here's one from Lana. Ooh. Do you have a favorite, or what is one of your favorite episodes of Happy Days?
All right. So one of my favorites was that I said to Richie, hey, look at this. You could get a library card for free. And you could go down there. You could meet chicks at the library. And registration for library cards went up 500% in America the next week. It was quoted by President Bush Sr. at that time. He even took notice of the fact. It's an amazing thing to be on television and that people are actually listening to what you're saying. Another one what Richie was in the hospital, and I made a deal with God. And somebody wrote, Gary Marshall, rest his soul, that they were part of a group in a wayward boys' home, juvenile delinquent boys' home in Massachusetts. And the boys loved the Fonz, but they would never show their emotion. Could the Fonz show emotion? And so the Fonz cried over Richie lying in the hospital bed, talking to God, saying, hey, make him better.
Yeah. A very, very powerful scene.
Yeah.
No question. No question. And again, it helped. It got a message out there.
Yeah. Well, we did one where the Fonz wore glasses in order to show that it was very cool to wear bifocals.
Unfortunately, these are progressive, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I can't wear progressives. I vomit.
It took me a week. Yeah. But I got my sea legs, as it were. That was about the equivalent to it. It's like being on a ship.
Maybe I'll try.
Just stick around the house while you're through it. You know, give it another whirl. Good work. And Lana, thank you. Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. What do we have next? From Jason. Where is the most surprising place you've been recognized?
The most, there's not a place I haven't been, but the most surprising, 12 o'clock at night, I had a full beard, May 1980, walking down the streets of Rome, but like in the shadows. I had dinner filled with pasta, chatting with my wife, who is pregnant with our daughter, Zoe, who is now the mother of 3 little boys. Wow. And you heard a car screech, and we thought there was an accident. They backed up. Fonzie, Bella. I had a hat, a beard, a thing. It's dark. It's 12. It's
there you go. Random question that pops into my head. When Happy Days was exported to foreign markets, was it dubbed or subtitled? Do you know?
Dubbed. And you know what? The only thing that was left, that was me. But I met a lot of the guys who dubbed the Fonz in different countries.
Yeah.
And they left the A for me.
There you have it. Excellent.
No, actually, I speak 126 languages.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's like Alien Superstar. He speaks every language. He has a lot of trouble because of all the consonants with Hungarian.
As we all do, of course.
Hello.
Spasivica. Jason, great question. Thank you. Here's one from Kathy. Wants to know, what is your secret to maintaining such a positive outlook on life, even when things aren't great?
You know what? That is a great question. I would have to say I live by 2 words: gratitude and tenacity. Tenacity gets you where you want to go, and gratitude allows you to enjoy the journey. I am grateful. I am grateful for every breath I take, for every breath I have taken since October 30th, 1945 on this earth. I said to my wife the other day, we have 2 puppies. We have a 2-year-old golden doodle who's a little slow. And we have a 3-year-old Labradoodle who I believe was on a South American soccer team in another life. Her eye-mouth coordination is shocking. They lie on our bed and fall asleep. They leave you no room on the bed. My feet are like just my heel is on the very edge of the mattress. And I looked down and I said to my wife, Stacy, just the other night, I said, I am so grateful for our puppies. I love our puppies. Now, I had an Irish setter, beautiful, beautiful red Irish setter. Her name was Dervin. And I didn't name her. She came with the name Dervin, and I didn't realize you could just change it, but I didn't. If I jumped into the lake, she jumped after me to make sure I was fine. My mother gave her away because she didn't like dogs. Lovely people. So now, as an adult, I don't get over the fact I have puppies.
There you go. Kathy, great one. And yeah, I'm a big admirer of both those words, gratitude and tenacity. I prefer the word tenacity to determination.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And without it, we wouldn't be here talking to each other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey, let's do another one. What do we got from Gene? Ooh. Do you like Mo acting, directing, or producing?
This is a great question. I wanted to be an actor. It became very difficult, especially after the Fonz. People would say, wow, he's funny. Wow, he is such a great guy. But he was the Fonz, and I didn't get work. And I didn't have a plan B. I didn't know what I wanted to do after the Fonz. So I sat there, my brain hurt. My lawyer at the time, Skip Brittenham III, said, you know what, we'll start a company. I said, I can't start a company. I'm stupid. I'm dyslexic. I can't start. I don't know anything about it. He said, you'll learn. So I started producing. And the first show that my partner and I produced was MacGyver. And that turned out pretty well.
Yeah.
I learned what I knew and what I didn't know. Some of what I didn't know, I learned, and some I never got. I didn't like it very much. I didn't like producing very much. Directing. I like directing. I did commercials, television shows, 2 feature films. I won a daytime Emmy for directing Scott Baio in an after-school special. But it didn't work, really. It didn't take off. It was like starting a lawnmower, and the lawnmower never kicked in, you know?
Yeah.
So I went back to acting, and it's working out pretty well. So now I act in Barry, and I do voice work on a wonderful show called Monsters at Work for Disney Plus, where we're just now doing, we're recording the 2nd season of Monsters at Work.
Great. Of course, Monsters Inc. very dear to my heart since it was my job for 13 years at Disney. So yeah.
There you go. Isn't that wonderful?
Indeed.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. What do you mean that was your job?
Oh, there's an attraction at Walt Disney World called the Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, which is an interactive experience where people go on in, there's a big giant screen, and they think they're watching a movie, but monsters from the Monsters Inc. universe talk to the audience specifically and bring them up on camera and do some vaudevillian sort of shtick with them. And
what were you?
I helped the characters there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So I'm good friends with Buddy Boyle. I'm Buddy Boyle. I'm one of the monsters here at the Laugh Floor, but I'm not your MC. That, of course, is the green guy with one eye.
Oh, that's amazing. But look how our paths have come together. We have both done the same thing because my character, Fritz, is in charge of the Laugh Floor.
Yep. Yep.
There he is. I love him. He just sings spontaneously about anything.
And thanks to that show, the Laugh Floor will continue at the Magic Kingdom for a few more years. So
yeah,
thank you
for about that, Patty. I mean, we both did the same world.
Yeah.
And here we are talking to each other virtually.
I know. But it's the 21st century is an interesting place.
An interesting place.
Absolutely. Gene, great question. Thank you so much. I think we have time for one more. So let's see if we can go on a really fun one. And here's one. If you could make a Christmas pizza, what would be on it?
Okay. This is I would go with a Blanco, and I would put basil on it to make green. The sauce is red, and I would eat half the pie. I would leave the candy cane in the jar next to the pizza. I'm not very creative in that area.
No, well, the candy cane afterwards is good because it helps sweeten the breath after all that.
Yes, right. Hi, hi, Fritz. Oh, there is a technical human being by the name of Paul in the background, and he has found the fonts that you've seen, the covers of the books you've seen, and that Fritz that you just saw. Thank you, Paul. He is on the ball.
Paul
That's
is.
what Mike says. I'll tell you. He said, Paul? Oh, yeah, he's on the ball.
Absolutely.
Or the jingle bells.
Yep. People have requested, hey, we want to see Paul come out on a camera, and he's just written the message. No,
hey, Paul looks very Christmassy. He's got a Christmas headband on.
Yes, he does.
I saw him just before.
Yes, he does.
Really handsome dude.
Yes, and Paul, thank you for that last question. Henry, as always, this has been an absolute delight. Any final words for our audience before we take a leave?
I have a final word. First of all, whatever you decide to do today, if you chat, if you don't, if you buy, if you don't, I hope that you and your family have the safest, sanest, joy-filled new year and the healthiest. I wish you great health. I really do. And thank you for being here. And I want to say that honestly, you know, I've been coming to Comic-Cons for quite a while. I've been talking to Patty for quite a while. Patty, this might have been my favorite. I thought, oh my God, who wants to hear the same story again? These questions were great. You were great. I think this might have been one of my best experiences doing this chat ever in person, on screen. Happy New Year, everybody.
And to you as well, Henry. Once again, thank you for joining us on the GalaxyCon virtual stage. It's been my absolute privilege to host you here again. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thank you again for those great questions. Hope to see everybody again soon. Until then, bye-bye, take care, happy holidays, and remember, smiles are free. Spend them often.